CrystalMind Motivation Limited. She's very, very passionate about what she does. She's a motivational speaker. She's an educationist. She's an author. She's a public policy analyst. She's a master of research, and she has a master's of research and public policy from Uganda Christian University in Uganda, and so many other qualifications and a wealth of experience. So Maureen, we are happy to have you today, and thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ronald Mukasa, are you with us?
Yes, Peter. How are you, sir?
Very fine, thank you. Good
See
to
you
see
again
you.
after a while. How are you doing? And
I'm
how is
doing
it?
well.
Lovely, 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 lovely.
Please say hello to the people that are with us
Hi
this morning.
everyone. Thank you for taking off time to join us today. My name is Ronald Mukasa, and I'm excited to be part of this discussion today. And I'm looking forward to an engaging morning.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald is a financial literacy coach, a consultant, trainer, and business development professional. He has provided business management, financial literacy, and financial management training to corporate entities, government, and non-governmental institutions. 6 years. He's also the Director of Research and Innovation and Learning at Enterprise Uganda, where he has worked for the last 10 years. Thank you, Ronald. I am happy to see you. What he never added on the profile is that Ronald was one of the key people we used to work with in church drama group at St. Francis Church so many years ago while we were at university together. I am happy to have you here, Ronald, again. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Nora Namubiru, who is going to be, she's the co-founder of Sanity Hub Uganda. And I want her to say hello to you, and we plunge straight into what she'll be discussing. She'll be looking at the mental effects of a financial breakdown to you as individuals and businesses as a result of COVID-19, as a result of the financial strain that we're going through. But before I bring Noura on board to say hello, because when she comes in, I just want her to continue, and she will have 10 minutes for her to take us through. But ladies and gentlemen, we are in very abnormal times, and we have been under lockdown for slightly over 2 months. We, as government, had to come up with measures to ensure that we check the spread of COVID-19. You recall very well that businesses were put to a halt, nightclubs were closed, bars were closed, markets were closed, and so many standard operating procedures put in place. Public transport came to a lockdown. We are only beginning to prepare for their return. Certainly, private transport was also on a halt. It became a bit of a challenge, and the president was encouraging people, those that really had to come to work, then they really had to either walk or use bicycles. Here in Uganda, it's quite tricky. People like to, drive around even for short distances. But I can assure you that it can't be the normal thing. So times have changed, and COVID-19 certainly has come up with lots of adjustments and the need for rethinking the way we do our things, the way we do business. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a public servant, whether you are government. So a lot of lessons that we are learning. For us here in the city administration, we also had to come up with a number of measures to ensure that we provide emergency responses to the people of the city. But as you may have heard also from the State of the Nation address that the president was giving a few days ago, he was actually mentioning a number of measures because government has received a lot of petitions from many entrepreneurs, from many businesses about the effects. And so we also have a lot of things coming up, landlords and tenants relationship. Of course, government had to come in to also guide that people shouldn't be kicked out of their premises because of rent or non-payment of rent since they have not been working for a long time. Families are stressed. We also had the president telling you people that please learn to coexist. We've not been living together for a long time, but now that everybody is under one roof, we should learn to appreciate each other. So there's a lot of stress, mental stress as a result of the current health challenges that we're going through. So allow me introduce Noura to you and also assign her 10 minutes so that she can tell us how we should deal with these challenges. Noura, you're very welcome. You have 10
Thank
minutes.
you. Okay, so my name is Noura Namubir. I'm the co-founder of Sanity Hub. We realized there's a huge gap with mental health in Uganda currently. Very many people are facing mental health challenges and are just taking it lightly. And mental health is something that's not to be joked about, because at the end of the day, we realize that if your mental health is not okay, productivity in the country is generally down. So you'll find someone stressed up, going through a depression, having other mental health issues, and they're keeping quiet about it. But at the end of the day, when you ask them, are you working? Are you doing anything? They'll tell you, I don't have anything to live for. So COVID has happened, and I know very many people are so uncertain about what's going on and what to expect for the remaining years. I know businesses have closed. It's not about to go. We have to know how we're going to cope with it and align our finances as well to be able to stay in the situation sane. So a positive mental health is basically a state of well-being in which an individual can cope with normal stress of life or and work productively and can contribute to his or her community. So I'd like to encourage people not to give up at the end of the day, because as Sanity Hub, we're doing mental health awareness to educate people that, you know what, even if you're going through a depression, even if you have your mental health is not okay, it is very normal and very okay. Just reach out for help, talk to someone, get things to do. Reason being is we don't want to have people who are suffering from different mental health issues like depression, like we've seen very many people going through it, and you feel like life doesn't make meaning anymore. You feel you're avoiding your problems. You can't even make up a budget because we need having a vicious cycle of debt, because you feel like, what am I living for? I'm dying tomorrow, which is not a good thing. So yeah, mental health, I feel plays a very big role in our lives. We need to keep positive all the time, and you can do this in various ways. Among them, to help you have a good way of coping up with the whole COVID-19. I know most people can't watch news for long anymore because everything is, this one has died. Mexico recently had 1,000 deaths in a day. We saw that happening in Italy, in the UK. So we can have different ways with this effect and having your finances right is have strategy, like no, have different strategies in place to help you cope up so that you can have a good mental health. Like I said before, like I said earlier, when your mental health is down and you're not feeling okay, just know your productivity levels are down, then you'll feel frustrated, and then you'll end up having more monetary issues. You might end up adding on to your debt. So you can have different strategies in place to help you cope up. One is having a positive attitude. Always look at the brighter side of life, you know. Stay physically active, you know. Join different health clubs, or not health clubs, because I know gyms are closed at the moment, but join groups with people who are working out or doing exercises, take walks, you know. Help. You can find ways of helping people to, or get people within your same situation and see how you get out of the whole depression. Asking for professional help. If it comes to the worst, ask for professional help. I mean, doesn't hurt. Then you can also socialize with people. Get someone you trust and talk to them, you know. There's always that one person I know when you talk to them, you're like, my day is okay. And forming useful coping skills in life. So what I can tell you is COVID is here, but please, please, please find all means possible to stay okay, not to get depressed. And because it will, the moment you get depressed, just know your finances are not going to be okay, your life is not going to be okay. So I encourage people to know that, yes, even if I get a mental problem, I'll still be okay at the end of the day, because I have people who will listen to me, and I know it's something normal and not abnormal, like most people say that, oh, because I know that's the problem in our community is we look at mental health as, oh, that person has a problem. Or people go ahead to even say, oh, you know, there are those names that are stigmatized. So we shouldn't stigmatize people according to what they're going through, but rather encourage each other. Yeah, so that's all I have for now. You can check out our page on Twitter as well, Sanity Hub. We're doing more of mental health awareness, like I've said. And yes, it's not, I'll keep saying it, it's not the end of the world. Let's keep positive and let's love each other. That's it for now.
Hello? Okay, thank you very much. Nura, we indeed have to keep positive, and there's a lot of challenges with mental health. Just as Nura said, you know, we look at people on the streets, you look at people leaving homes, and they're in a desperate situation, and we say, you know, the common saying in Kampala, until you mugwiwa dalu, you know, mental health is serious. And I am sure Nura's presentation has generated some questions for you. But just keep them. We'll find some time where we'll be able to interact. Ladies and gentlemen, like I introduced Maureen to you already, the founder of CrystalMind. She's very passionate at everything she does in there. But like we said, we are now facing unprecedented challenges as businesses, as individuals. So I would want Maureen to share with us in her own feeling and thinking practically how individuals and businesses can make a comeback. Certainly we know that the situation is like this today, but we're going to improve. So Maureen, I want to invite you to share with us what you think the direction people should take, possibly as all this comes to a halt. We may not be sure that COVID-19 is going to be checked in the next 1 month, in the next 2 months, but we know that certainly it will be checked. How do we return? How do we come back as businesses? How do we come back as individuals? Maureen, you're welcome.
Allow me to, and then I have to take this off. That's what our president taught us to do. Well, you're welcome here, and I have 10 minutes. Peter, do I have 10 minutes?
Yes, you have. You actually have 8 minutes. But before you proceed, I want to ask everybody else to put their mic so that it's only Maureen's microphone on. Let's mute everybody else.
Okay.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Well, when we thought about this webinar, somebody asked a question: have you ever experienced COVID-19? And the answer was, if I had, I would be in quarantine. But clearly, we all have not experienced COVID-19, but we have had the chance to experience its effects. We have, sorry, Peter, can you hear? Can you hear me? Okay, well, we have had the chance to experience its effects economically, socially, politically, and all. I have some serious feedback from somebody. Peter, I can't hear. Sorry? Okay, well, this is technology for us. Well, I want to share some practical ways that we can come back and make a big comeback and a boom back into our personal finances during this challenging time, but also past COVID-19. One of the ways that we can do this is by examining ourselves. Just how somebody's sick. You can't treat a sickness you don't know about. That means you've got to know that what you're suffering from, the causes, and how to get out or how to get better. So during this time, it's challenging, we all know, but you have the chance to rebuild your finances by accepting that you need to rebuild your finances. Because if you're in denial, then you'll not take the steps that I'm going to share below. In our current state, people have lost jobs, people have eaten up their savings. When the savings are done, they're now eating up their capital. And at that point, that is when you get to know that you need to rebuild your finances. Now, you need to stop and realize that you need financial help. That is when you go to experts, to banks, to your mentors, and say, how can I go how do I get back my financial muscle? So you go through your expenditures. It's very important for you to rebuild your finances. You need to have a meticulous track of your expenditures. Look through your bank statements. And we might have some of us here who are not, who don't bank. So look through your savings box. Take note of how you're spending. And if you're in saving clubs and circles, you have to look at your passbooks. The other thing you have to do is educate yourself about finances. Financial education is extremely important, because truthfully, the less you know, the more you'll be manipulated. I, for one, I have a very good example of how I got manipulated some years back. Someone came to me and they told me about this very good pyramid scheme, and I was super excited about it. And I decided to invest all my savings then. It was about 800,000. I invested all my savings in that scheme, and I lost it all plus the people that I had invited. Now I lost my money, and I also lost my money, and then I also got a debt. That is because I did not educate myself about some of these financial products and businesses and deals before I got myself into them. But how do we do this? You educate yourself through reading books, through listening to financial programs, through attending free conferences, even if they have to be paid for. Invest in yourself so that you can, and through understanding how credit works. When you go to a bank to pick a loan, don't just say, okay, that's a good deal. Do a window shopping for loans, for mortgages through the different banks and financial services. Then you have options to understand your rights. When you go to the banks, you've got to understand what your rights are as a client and your duties. So it's so important that you educate yourself. The other thing you can do is change your mindset about money. It's important for you to change your mindset about money. We all know this saying that money is the root of all evil. Yes, it can actually be the root of all evil, but money can also be the root to success, to happiness, to good health. So change your mindset. When you get to know about money, be relative about how you think of money. When it comes to improving personal finances and achieving wellness, believe me, 20% is your skill, but 80% is your behavior and mindset about money and about money. So some of the ways you can change your attitude towards money is, one, have gratitude towards money, however little it is. Because when we say save 10% of your income, my 10% could be 10,000 shillings. And then you'll tell yourself, it's too little, I can't save it. But one by one makes a bundle. Another one, savings, 10% could be 10 million shillings. But still, a person who's having 10 million shillings in savings, they will feel like it's too little. Please always have gratitude with what you have at hand. Then, this is something quite interesting. I hope you take it on. Talk to your money. Just the way you talk to your children and you tell them, I don't expect you to disappoint me. Read your books. Talk to your money and tell it, oh, my money, I love you very much. I expect you to produce. I am going to behave. I'm not going to overspend. And I expect to invest you and for you to produce for me more money. You've got to have a good relationship with your money and talk to it. That's the only way you're going to rebuild your finances. Our finances are like friends. If you don't respect them, they'll disappear. But if you do respect them, they will be there. The other thing you have to do is you have to delay your gratification. Many of us want things quickly. For example, I might want to build a house right now, but can I afford it? No. I might want to buy shoes. Can I afford them? Now, if I want to buy the shoes that I can't afford and I can't delay that gratification, it's going to mean I'm going to go and borrow money. Then I will get indebted. That is something that we need to look into. Many of you might disagree with me, but this is something I've got to tell you. Set huge targets for yourself. Because when you set huge, big targets for yourself, you'll work harder. And when you work harder, you'll then start to achieve or to rebuild your finances. Look at possibilities with businesses. Peter, please don't tell me that I have a minute. Anyway, I have 2 minutes. Well, the other is save 20% of your income. That is something that you have had everywhere. And I know that some of you are going to say, we have depleted everything. So what can we save? You have your head. You have the ideas. So friends, be able to take on your ideas for now, share them with people that matter, people that will build you, not break you, and then slowly by slowly, you will build your idea and blossom it into a money-making venture. Then set daily goals. When you set daily goals, they are going to get you into a person who's consistent with a good habit of achieving. These daily financial achievements form really nice financial habits. For example, if you want to say that I will not, if you've been spending on lunch at work, breakfast, on lunch and dinner, then you say, I'll start to pack my breakfast and lunch. In that way, you get to start saving some money. I will leave you with the parable of the talents from the Bible. I quite love to talk about the Bible because it's gotten me this far. Please read the parable of the talents. The parable of the talents, where the master went away but left his 3 employees with different sums of money, 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent, and what they did about with that money. Some reinvested it, some decided to just keep it so that it does not go away and run from them. But keeping the money when it's not making you some small interest may not help you rebuild your finances. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you very much, Maureen, for that very, very insightful presentation. You have indeed rejogged my memory. A lot of issues you raised. I pick a lot of stuff. We should speak to our money. We should build a relationship. If we don't, then we will lose it. And then very, very important that we should delay our gratification. We'll provide about 5 to 7 minutes of questions if people have any comments. But right about now, I'm going to invite Mr. Mukasa. Enterprise Uganda does a lot of business support and modeling, and they have been at this for a lot of time. And I would like him to come and speak to us that in these challenging times and where we are heading. I know that government is providing, is beginning to hint, to indicate that there's going to be some support to businesses in when we begin to ease up. But what is the importance of compliance, and possibly for you as a financial advisor, what is your message to us today? Many people have indicated, I've been to markets, and people say the capital they used to have, they have swallowed it, they have eaten it all through this period. And if there's going to be any access to finances, to support, what do people need to do? So I want to invite you to speak to us today, Mr. Mukasa, and you have 8 minutes, sir. Is Mr. Mukasa with us? Admin, could you please get Ronald Mukasa, if we can?
All right, perfect. I was requesting to be unmuted. Yeah. So,
Okay.
thank you, Peter, for that question. And again, I want to thank everyone who has joined us today. I think clearly the times in which we are point to a scenario which in the space for us who support businesses. We keep telling businesses that there are ups and downs. I think whenever you make mention that there are ups and downs, you never know exactly what you mean until you go through a situation like the one we are going through. This is clearly a down. It is not a down in one business. It's not a down in one sector. It is a down all across. So I think every business owner out there can clearly see and feel the pain. As Peter, you have mentioned, you go to a market that someone has been possibly dealing in clothes, working with a capital 1 million, 1.5 million, but it's all gone during these last 3 months when we have been going through this situation. But that said, I think one thing which is clear is that, and I want to just speak to the subject of compliance in such an environment. I think everyone, even at an individual level, there are contracts which you have that you should be worried about. I mean, if at an individual level, if, for example, you have been renting, you are worried about rent. It's a contract with your landlord, and it's a contract which has come due. If you have electricity you are paying, that's a compliance issue. Have you paid on time? But when you think about specifically a business, there are a couple of segments which you need to pay attention to here. One of them is clearly the taxman. I mean, Peter is with the tax, and you broaden it to any regulatory, there is an obligation. This obligation is written in law. The law did not anticipate that we would have a situation like the one we are having, but the truth is now we have that situation. So you as a business owner, you need to think about your obligation to the taxman and the regulatory authorities. Another segment I want to touch on briefly is your compliance to your borrowing contracts. You borrowed from a bank, from a microfinance institution, and there is a contract, and you have to comply to it. Now, one of the things which is key at a point like this, the very first thing is to make sure that you know exactly what your contract is. I think many times, sometimes you find that we live in situations when we don't even know which taxes we are supposed to pay, when we don't even know which licenses we are supposed to pay. So the first thing is to know exactly what it is. I'll give you an example. When you think about what you call corporation tax, where you are paying out of your profits, if you haven't made profits, that means you don't have that obligation. But that means that you know. And how do you know? You know by making sure that, first of all, you have read the contract and you have understood which terms you actually have. And that brings me to another point. Was there a contract in the first place? Do you actually know your obligations? Do those things exist, and have you actually understood them? And many businesses in this country run, and even the contracts they have, they're not clear. Many people get a bank loan and they have never read through the contract. They just ask them, this is the loan, you are taking 10 million. They asked only one question: where do I sign? Where do I sign so that I can get this money? And at this point, the contract is starting to bite, and you are feeling the pinch, but you don't understand what exactly is in that contract. So make sure that you understand exactly what is in the contract for you to comply. Understand which taxes am I supposed to pay, which licenses am I supposed to pay, and what is in my contract. Make sure that you understand them. So the first thing is to know exactly what you are supposed to do, what is written on paper. The second thing is to seek information and understand, what does this mean where I am today? I'll give you an example. The part of the stimulus which the government has spoken of has been to allow people to actually extend or push their loans a bit without being charged the penalty. Now, you have to know this. Why you have to know it? You have to know it because if you don't have that information, you might be struggling, but actually you don't even know that there is a bit of relief that has been given. I encourage everyone to take interest. What things have been said? When you talk about taxation, do I need to file my return right now? And if I don't, how much time have I been given to be able to file my return? So that information needs to exist. If there has been a window which are KCCA during this period, do you know? Because you might be punished for your lack of information or for being ignorant about the windows which have been created. The third thing is that after you have sought information, you have to engage these stakeholders. It is important to engage. When you talk about a bank, you have to go to the bank manager in person and you say, I am running a school, I am running a trading business. Make sure that you have had that engagement. You can engage the taxman, you can engage KCCA. Sometimes the problem which we have is that many times there is a perception that we have drawn about these organizations, that even where the law is in our favor, we actually don't know. And that
Mr.
means
Mukasa,
that,
you have 60 seconds, sir.
all right, let me wrap up. That means that there will be unscrupulous people within the system who will piggy bank on your ignorance to be able to benefit from this. So you make sure that, one, you understand what the contract says. Two, you seek information about the situation in which we are going. And three, you ensure that you are engaging the partners so that we can be able to walk out of this. Compliance is going to be tough during this period, but we are certain that if we work together, we can be able to pull out. Peter, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Mukasa, thank you so much for that wrap up. I know clearly in your presentation is that rights actually come with obligations. And so as an individual, as a business, you must always honor your obligations. I'm going to allow, I don't know whether the time, we still have time, like 5 minutes, admin, if that is okay, then we should be able to take some comments. Yeah. Before Nura, are you there? Is Maureen there? Hello.
Hello, we're here.
Yes, Maureen, you're there. Is Nura there? Is Nura with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, before I open up, I just wanted to have a very quick one to you, Nura. You, as Sanity Hub for Uganda, I just wanted to know how you're working with the current structures in place to continue improving and supporting people that need mental support, mental health support. I know that it's not a very common thing in a lot of our communities where people get psychosocial support. How are you as an entity working to ensure that we support and bring more Ugandans to get mental health? Maureen, one, I just have also one for you. Like you said, we definitely have to really harness the way we relate, with money. Any ideas how we can pick and recollect ourselves to the ground, especially those that have, like I indicated, those that have already eaten their capital and they're coming back to, they would want to pick themselves off the ground after that. I think those are the ones I have for you. Possibly, if there is anybody with a question, please just introduce yourself, and then we use the next 3 minutes to just wrap up this.
Okay, so you're asking me how we are working right now. Well, currently
Yes.
we're trying to work through social media engagements, get to talk about the different ways people can cope up with, because we can't, the fact that there's COVID going on and the travel restrictions, we can't really get into the communities to talk. So we're trying as much as possible to engage people via social media, asking how are you coping up, how are you doing this, talking about the different mental health illnesses that we have, because there are over 300 apparently mental illnesses that people suffer from, but we don't really know them. So we're trying to talk about them so that people can get to know that, oh, when I'm feeling like this, when I'm feeling lazy, when I'm oversleeping, I'm probably going through a depression, or I probably have a mental health illness that I have, which I didn't know about. So maybe I need to check myself. So for now, we're just doing more of social media.
Thank you, Nura. Thank you very much. We appreciate. Maureen, what is eating up their money, and probably right, they're thinking all is gone. How do we support such people to get back to their feet?
Um, for somebody, or for some of us who have eaten up all our money, or for some of you who have eaten up all your money, there are two things, like I said, there are two things that we have to do. Number one is accept that you have eaten up all your money and you need to restart. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a job, that is when you're going to be nice to your human resource and you explain exactly what your circumstance is. If you can get what is called an upfront salary, I don't know if they call it that, and then you need to also cut down on your expenditures to suit the very minimal budget that you have. You need to readjust your life to make sure that you fit in the little that you're going to you're going to get. Then the other thing you can do again is educate yourself. There are so many people out who are going to be providing different remedies to our financial solutions. So the other thing you need to do is educate yourself. Like Ronald said, you have the rights, you have the responsibilities and the
Okay.
duties to educate yourself about which opportunities are there, what financial packages are the banks providing, if it's a money lender, how good is it? But also, I encourage you to talk to different people about people that you trust, about how you can you can get out of that ditch. But Peter, to tell people, you're not dying. At least you have life. So because you have life, you have ideas. Harness your ideas and be able to share them and grow them without shame.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Ronald, there's a question here from someone saying, Ronald, there are people who have lost jobs due to the pandemic, and their job was their security. How do they get assisted? This is coming to you, Ronald. Possibly you could find time to also respond to that, and also like your parting statement to the people that have been with us this part of the morning.
Super. Thanks a lot, Peter. I think as it has clearly been mentioned, it's quite a, and as Maureen mentioned, the starting point is really acceptance that this is the reality. I think one of the dangers that we have in such a season is taking too long waiting for help on the way. I think many times you have this feeling that possibly my boss will call me back. I was quite a very hardworking person. I think they will need me. And you can live in a period of kind of false optimism. However, I think what is absolutely key at this point is to take a clear assessment of where you are currently. One, you don't have a job. That's a fact. You don't have it. And then as you take that assessment, you can see what you don't have and also assess what you have. You may not have a job, but you have a home where you are living and it's yours. And you're asking yourself, what can I do where I am currently to build an income? What can I be able to start? One of the things about the human being is that the human being inevitably will always find a way of getting out of that situation as soon as they accept and decide they are going to do it. And that is why I encourage people to ensure that you make a call to a friend who has been through this situation. Make a call to a friend who lost a job. It may not have been during this period, but they lost a job 4 years ago. Make a call and tell them, what exactly did you do? That friend will tell you, you know what, when I lost that job, I spent 3 months in depression. That's what happened to me. But after those 3 months, I decided that I am going to go to do their laundry. It was the most demeaning job I've ever done. But out of that experience, I have managed to build a laundry company and I employ 15 people currently. So the point is that the experience which you are going through, other people have gone through it. It is not going to be painless. It is going to be quite challenging, but inevitably there is a way out. And your job now is to find that way out. Engagements like this, where you engage with other people, when you listen to people's stories, you'll quickly notice that people have managed to break through. So I think, and I'll make that my parting shot, that anyone out there should appreciate that the situation we are in is unprecedented. There is uncertainty in government, there is uncertainty in families, there is uncertainty at an individual level. But one thing which we all need to do is to get together, make sure that we notice that we are going to have to swim through this together. And as we swim through together, there may be new opportunities that may come up, and we should be prepared to seize them. I think when we have acceptance and then we draw out where we want to get to, and partly today you may just want to get to a point where you actually are surviving. You are saying, if I can make 10,000 every day, I will be comfortable. Now the next question is, how can I make 10,000 every day? That could be as simple as saying, I go to the market, I buy maize, I roast it on the roadside. That is 10,000 every day. That could be it. And for the next 3 months, that might be it. And people will say, imagine that fellow used to be in an office, now they're in maize roasting, people have fallen deep. But the point is, at least you have answered the question of 10,000 every day.
Yeah.
And since you have skills, those skills, whichever place you enter, you can be able to use them to expand. You won't be like any ordinary maize roaster. Yours may be on Facebook, it may be delivered, and you can be able to grow something better out of there. But we're in tough times. There are times of standing strong, and we make sure we push forward. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are happy that we've been able to drink from your wisdom, from your pot of wisdom today. Very, very insightful presentations. I have nothing useful to add, but like you have clearly said, people should keep hope alive, and you should actually keep engaging, build networks. Don't just sit in your room and lock yourself in there and say, for me, all is gone. We will wait until things get better. You have to make a step out of that closet and ensure that you're connecting with people. Somebody communicated to me yesterday that we need to keep being innovative and creative. While some people are making a lot of cries and noise, we are dying, we are losing this, there are others who are making millions of money. And how are they doing this? They are doing that through the networks that Ronald just talked about, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for sparing your time, for being with us. I want to especially thank CrystalMind for making this happen, and to you, Ronald, for the presentation and sharing ideas with us. Nura, thank you. We need a lot of psychosocial support and mental health support to our people. And to you, Maureen, thank you very much. We've picked up lots of lessons from you. And for all of you that have been following us and chatting with us, I want to assure you that we're going to respond to all your questions, and we appreciate you for the comments you have given us. Thank you for being such a wonderful panel, and also for making time to be a part of this this morning. I want to sincerely thank you and say that God bless you, and keep building networks, keep thinking, keep connecting with people. Life will be better. Keep safe, wash your hands. God bless you.